Welcome to Raising Scholars. I'm Jacquie Langworthy, education leader and mom, and I'm here to help you raise confident, independent learners. In every episode, you'll get simple strategies you can use right away, built on the R.A.I.S.E Scholar Framework: confidence, consistency, and independence, without pressure and without power struggles. Let's get into it. One of the most common worries I hear from parents is, my child is so bright, so why does math feel so hard? If you ever found yourself asking that question, you're not alone. And chances are, your child has wondered the same thing. Today, we're going to bust the myth that math struggles mean a child isn't smart and show you what really makes the difference. If you've ever watched your child, or even your middle or high schooler, struggle with math and wondered what you're missing, you're in the right place. Let's talk about the math myth. It's easy to believe the myth that math ability is something you're simply born with or without. That if your child loves art, music, math won't come naturally. Or that girls, by default, will have a tougher time with numbers. I hear it all the time, and it breaks my heart because math is just a subject, not a destiny. I'm living proof. I'm a woman, and I was an engineer before I became an educator. I love math, and I know so many creative people who are brilliant at it too. Artists, musicians, designers. Math is everywhere. Take Pharrell Williams, for example. He's known for his innovative music and production, but he also attended Northwestern University for a summer program in engineering and has spoke openly about his love of mathematics and science. He's a huge advocate for STEM education, especially for kids who may doubt or overlook their math abilities. The truth is, math is the subject where kids lose confidence fastest, not because it's harder, but because math builds vertically. One skill stack on top of another. If a single foundation is missing, everything above it feels impossible. It is also the subject where there is usually just one right answer. There are many ways to get there, but when a child gets it wrong, there's rarely partial credit. It's easy for kids to start believing, I'm just not good at this, even if they actually are very close and just made one small mistake. I see it all the time in my center. Parents come in asking for algebra help, but when I assess their child, I often discover the real struggle started way earlier, sometimes as far back as first or second grade, when number sense and patterns wasn't established, so basic operations get tricky. If a student struggles with addition, subtraction gets harder. If subtraction is shaky, multiplication and division become mountains. And if the foundation isn't solid by the time they hit middle school, algebra feels like a wall. And let's not forget, the way math is taught now, hello Common Core, is different from how most of us learned. That disconnect adds another layer of doubt and frustration for both kids and parents. So here's another thing I see all the time. When I assess a student, I identify the first gap in their learning, and then I take them back to the prerequisite skill prior to start. I want them to start where they feel confident, where they've mastered the basics. But here is the problem, especially with older kids. Parents or students will say, that's too easy. Deep down, though, many kids are masking what they don't understand. They rather avoid the work than risk being exposed as not knowing. When kids say math is too easy, it's often avoidance, a way to protect themselves from embarrassment or shame. And when adults say, you should already know this, curiosity gets replaced by fear. I once had a middle schooler come in for algebra support. But when I assessed her, I found her real struggle was with basic subtraction, a skill that usually gets set in second grade. We went back, rebuilt her foundation, and I'll never forget the smile on her face when she finally mastered division. That breakthrough gave her the confidence to tackle harder math. And years later, she took honors math in high school and in college, even though she majored in art and never considered herself as a math person. So, what does it take to rebuild math confidence? This is where the R.A.I.S.E Scholar Framework comes in. E is for evidence. Confidence grows when kids see proof of their progress. Mastery is calm. When a child knows that they can do something, anxiety fades. The S is for systems. Short daily practice routines matter more than cramming. Consistency builds certainty. R is for regulation. When kids feel safe to make mistakes, learning happens. Pressure and comparison shut kids down. Safety and support open them up. Speed without understanding creates anxiety. That's why we focus on accuracy, repetition, and celebrating small wins, not just racing ahead. And remember, these pillars work whether your child is in elementary, middle, or even high school. It's never too late to rebuild the foundation. So here are some practical tips. We've talked about math confidence as building on strong foundations and daily habits, not just talent or luck. Here are some practical things you can do at home to help reinforce those essential skills and fill in any gaps, no matter where your child is starting from. First, short daily practice. For younger children, use objects around the house, Skittles, pens, paper clips. Practice making groups, counting by 5s or 10s, or even by 2, and showing the different ways to make a number, like 2 plus 2 equals 4, 3 plus 1 equals 4, 4 plus 0 equals 4. This builds number sense and fluency. It also shows them what fact families are. For older kids, practicing skip counting up the stairs, in the car, or while setting the table. Focus on tricky facts. I notice for most of my students, 6s, 7s, and 8s multiplication facts are a challenge, and they're even a challenge for some adults. And make it like a game. If you have kids at different ages, the older ones can help the younger ones, and everyone learns together. Second, focus on accuracy before speed. Don't rush. If a child doesn't master a concept, speed won't help. It just hides mistakes. Slow down, check work together, and celebrate catching errors. This is how real mastery happens. Third, use neutral language. When we talk about using neutral language, we mean speaking about math and your child's progress in a way that's calm, non-judgmental, and focused on effort rather than comparison or labels. For example, instead of saying, "You should already know this," try, "Let's work through this together." Avoid comparing siblings or classmates by saying, "Your brother got this faster," or "Other kids your age can do this." Focus on the process. Tell them, "I see you're working hard on this problem," or "It's okay to make mistakes. Let's see where it got tricky." Neutral language helps your child feel safe to try, make mistakes, and keep going. Because it's about growth, not pressure. Avoid comparisons between siblings, friends, or even your own childhood. The fourth tip, no comparisons, no shame. I have 2 children, both great at math, but one liked math more than the other. I made a point to not compare them because math clicks at different times for every child. When you have curiosity, you want to learn. So if your child says, "I'm not a math person," or "This is too easy," dig a little deeper. Remind them that everyone learns at their own pace and that going back to the basics is a sign of strength, not weakness. Lastly, number 5, make math relevant and fun. Talk about math in everyday life. When you're cooking, when you're out shopping, sports with statistics. Let your child teach you a concept or work together to solve a problem. When math feels fun and useful, it feels less scary. Math confidence is built, not inherited. And remember, it can be rebuilt at any age. So try this tonight. Pick one math skill your child finds tricky and spend just 5 minutes practicing together. No pressure, just curiosity. Use objects around the house, draw pictures, or play a quick math game. Celebrate any progress and remind your child that mistakes are simply part of learning. And remember this, little steps done consistently make a big difference over time. So if this episode helped, share it with another parent. Whether their child's in elementary, middle, or high school, math confidence is for everyone. Thank you for listening to Raising Scholars. See you next time.